Welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a daily podcast which we disassemble a film from the Marvel Cinematic Universe in 1 minute segments and then examine it in obsessive and occasionally hilarious detail. I'm Kyle Olson from the Swashbuckling Ladies Debate Society podcast.
Hey, and I'm Rob Cabasco, and Kyle.
Yes, sir.
Did you know that the oldest known use of helmets was by Assyrian soldiers in 900 BC?
I did not know that.
No. I mean, this was a hard thing to find because there's not Middle Ages. There's a lot of talk about helmets, but I had to find this. This was this article on Times of India, which, by the way, interesting URL, timesofindia.indiatimes.com. I can't explain that, but
the URL game.
Yes, I don't know. So anyway, they talk about the history of helmets. At 900 BC, they wore these thick leather or bronze helmets to protect their head, obviously, from blunt objects. The word helmet is a diminutive of helm, a medieval word for protective combat headgear. Now, that's interesting, but I think in the annals of movie history, in the cinema, there's only one helmet that matters. Yes, that's right. Dark helmet.
I was going to say, I'm like, that's not Darth Vader.
No,
it's Dark Helmet.
Dark Helmet, of course, from Spaceballs, 1987 American science fiction comedy.
Can't even breathe in this thing.
Why am I talking about helmets? Because there's a gag in this minute that I got to tell you is cheeseball. Totally corny.
Yep.
But it makes me smile every time.
Me too. I like that. This dumb gag made me laugh more than all the bird nonsense from 65. Because here we are at minute 66 of Iron Man 2 from 2010, directed by Mr. Jon Favreau. It makes you wonder if there was a word for helm. For what were they talking about that would not be considered a helmet?
Yeah, I don't know.
The world may never know.
May never know that.
But we're picking up where we left off, which is Justin is noticed something has sprouted from the inside of one of his suits that Ivan is working at. So he has climbed up on the gantry and looked in. And so he is noticing that there's something sticking out of the neck piece of the hammer suit. I don't know. We never actually got a really good name for what these things are. And as he goes and pulls it off, it's a head! Ah! Oh, no, sorry. It's just a robot controller type thing with an antenna across the top and everything, too. So he takes this thing, yanks it off of the thing, which I'm like, man, you just set him back like an hour of work. You know how hard it is to like reset all those servos and make sure the wires? Has anyone ever tried to like reach behind your television to put in the HDMI cable? Like,
and you knock the other cables out, right? And
right, exactly. And also not be, shocked to death while doing it.
Yeah. Well,
probably in this one, you'd probably have that problem.
He's getting back at Ivan for, remember when he first showed up and he just started tinkering around, and remember we were talking about
that's
how
right, he yanked the helmet off, and so now he goes and yanks the call back.
Right.
So he takes the thing down and he goes down and says, I love it. He's having this conversation with Jack.
I know.
Jack's becoming one of my favorite characters in this movie. So he's going to have this conversation with Jack, and he says, "What's this, Jack? Is this a helmet? It doesn't look like a helmet to me. How are you supposed to get a head in there? Jack, could you put your head in there?" And so Jack, like, being the dutiful, major domo, like, tries to put his head inside of a robot head. And just goes, "No."
No, I can't. This doesn't work. Well, and you
got to put your head in there. Go ahead. Put your head in there.
And you got to love Justin, who's kind of like playing to a very annoying effect of, when you're trying to have a conversation with someone and that person, sometimes I do this, right? Really hitting you over the head, no pun intended, with your point. And his point is, you're not doing what I told you to do. Why are you not doing that? And almost to the point he's trying to humiliate the person in trying to make his point of, like, look, why are you not doing what I've told you to do? And so
he's playing to an audience that isn't there.
Oh, no.
Like, I was like, okay, I get it. Like,
I'm just going to kill you, dude.
But it just keeps going on and on. Justin just like never stops talking. This is I like, because that, Ivan does 4 or 5 words together, and that's about it usually. Right. And Justin like fills the rest of the space with his talking. So after Jack tries dutifully to put his head inside of a head, it doesn't work. And he says, "See, Ivan, he can't put his head in there. That's not a helmet. It's a head. I need to put a guy in there. I need to put a person in that suit. You understand?" And so then Ivan answers and says 2 words: "Drone better." Okay, so
Very
this
to the
is,
point.
remember, this is 2010.
Yes.
So drones were very much in the news, but not the little ones you could buy at Walmart and fly around. No, these were the drones that go out and kill people.
Right.
They talk a lot about this in the commentary and stuff too, and how he's saying like it's clean and antiseptic. Like our people don't get killed, just the people on the other side get killed by the drones. So it's like, oh yeah. So that was very much in the news at the time.
Well, and that's when they were really, people knew about them. Drones had been around. Drones have been around for obviously a long time. They're radio controlled, nothing more than a radio controlled device, right?
Yeah. But now it's like a radio controlled missile.
No, a missile. Obviously, for two main things that really have taken storm of military operations is both for surveillance and for actual execution of attacking. So. Yeah, all of this going on. That's what the certainly the phrase now when you watch the movie is different today than it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, because drones are just way of light. By the time you're hearing this, maybe Amazon is already delivering packages via drone.
Exactly, correct.
I don't want anybody to lose their job at the same time. It'd be really helpful for people to not be going from house to house all the time for their own health concerns. But who knows? So yes, drones are definitely a way of life, and this is where it starts. So. Justin says, what, drone better? Why is drone better? Why is drone better?
Okay.
So,
wait,
I'd say this, Ivan actually has good philosophy on the next one.
No, it does. But when Justin Hammer does this, Sam Rockwell is so awesome at this.
He's
because,
so great in this.
Okay, when he's saying, wait, why was the whole thing? And he does this thing with his finger, pushing his glasses up on his nose.
Yeah.
But then the finger just goes into his forehead because you're reminded the glasses are not real. He doesn't need the glasses. I don't think they're just there, right? As a
to make him look smarter. Yeah.
What he's trying to do is trying to like bash his own head in. Like, what are you doing? I love that. That is just, it's such a nuanced thing. But when you see him do it, you're getting what's going on in his head. Like, I want to lose control, but I'm not because you're the killer. I don't want to get my hands dirty.
Well, true. I would think of that. I was thinking more like this is how he's not Tony Stark, is because like already he's like, oh, this is better. Why is it better? Like it's not like I told you. Like he's the guy in charge. This is his company.
Yes,
Ivan like works for him. He can be like, no, I told you to do a thing. Go do the thing I said. It's sort of like, what? Why? Like he's already like pivoting to like, oh, apparently like someone has a better idea than me. Oh, I want that idea now.
Right, I'm wrong again.
It's the shiny new thing. I want the shiny new thing. Tell me about the shiny new thing.
Exactly. It's frustration.
And so Ivan says, people make problem. Trust me, drone better. People make problem.
Now that's foreshadowing. There's a lot in that statement.
Yeah, there's a lot.
But I love the fact that you have Justin, as we said, babbling on, and then he's just like, yeah, I'm not even going to mess around with you. This is what's happening. This is what we're doing.
And also it gets into the whole, I guess, super genius thing where it's like, okay, we know Ivan can recreate his father's work,
right?
So he can create a miniature arc reactor, which, apparently not only 2 people in the world can do this. Even looking forward, it never has been repeated. No one has ever cracked this technology in the MCU. Just these 2 guys. And then he is a nuclear physicist, apparently, according to the paper that came up that showed what he was thrown in prison for. But he can also build robots? Like, do they know that those are totally different skill sets? Like,
well, smart people tend to. We've talked about this. Smart people tend to figure things out.
I'm saying I know Tony Stark is the same way too. There's there's so many things you would have to be a master of in order to actually do what he does. But it's just like, you're smart in one thing, you must be smart in everything.
Yeah, that is the implication,
okay.
Right?
But this does open the idea, though. One thing we have not seen in the MCU from here on out are robots as a regular thing, with one major exception, and that, of course, is Ultron. Like Tony Stark created 2. He's got you and he's got Dummy. He's got his 2. They're basically just robots with they're just arms essentially to help him around there. And then there are no other robots. until they decide to create Ultron. And then Ultron, of course, creates Vision. So Vision's an android, which isn't quite the same thing as a robot. Like, as a pure robot, you've got the Iron Legion, I guess, who become basically part of Ultron.
Right.
And that's it. Like, after Ultron, no more robots. Like, from there on out, there are no other robotic anything in any of the rest of the MCU. Maybe a little bit in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They get into some artificial intelligence stuff. But, like, there's a lot of robots in the Marvel Comics universe, and there are not a lot of robots in the MCU. I just think it's interesting how, like, Ivan created a robot in 2010, like 2 years after Iron Man had debuted on the scene.
Right.
He had created a full-on robot that can do everything a human can do, because that's the whole thing. It's piloting the suit. Like, he didn't change the suit. He just built a guy to go into the suit that he could control. That's kind of amazing. And yet that technology goes away.
Yeah, you see it. Well, maybe, because in just a few more movies after this, they go so into, well, not after this, Age of Ultron, second Avengers movie. That one, because the ramifications are so bad that we obviously, there's a bunch of issues with that. But then yet you still have Tony's robots, Iron Man 3, the first Spider-Man movie. I mean, there's still things
what about Iron Man 3 is biowarfare.
Oh, yeah, but he's also got his.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's true. He can control them.
He can control them. So, I mean, they're kind of functioning with their own AI.
That's true.
I mean, that's true. Right. So, because I'll talk about this when we get to the end of this season. I will have some stuff to say about that. So, there's that. But then you'd have to go, you're right, because you'd have to go probably Guardians of the Galaxy to, like, get robots again in terms of just, autonomous.
Where are they in Guardians?
Okay, now I'm really stretching. Isn't it the other Guardians when we see the little tidbit of the other Guardians in one of the post-credit scenes? Isn't one of the characters a robot?
Oh, there's a head, right?
Yeah. Look at how much I'm stretching.
Well, but I think, so I think that's, I don't exactly remember now. I'm trying to remember if that was a cyborg. Yeah. Like, there's a biological component to it, but I don't really care. But you're right, though. It's secondary character.
Where the MCU has gone is clearly the emphasis has been on organic characters.
Yeah.
Which is, there's probably a lot of reasons for that. Because
robots are a viable source of really good stories. Ask Isaac Asimov.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that that's not the way they ever went to. Even just people pretending to be robots. Like, there's no Johnny Five in the MCU, with the exception of Dummy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. I don't know. And also, so the question is why? Why are they doing this? Like, why are they deciding to do drones? Like, cinematically, why do they decide to do drones? Easy. Body count, baby.
Right.
In the commentary, he basically says he wanted to have a big, exciting action thing of Iron Man flying around shooting stuff. And if you have guys and all that, and they'd be like American Hammer employees,
right?
You don't get quite that thrill of Iron Man, kill that guy and make his children into orphans. Yeah, hooray!
It's the same. It's the same thing of having little Anakin in Episode 1 mow down a whole bunch of battle droids. It's totally different if he's mowing down people.
That's right.
Yes.
It's a lot easier when you have it be like, then you could blow up. And so he talked a lot about how Jon Favreau talked about he was inspired by Samurai Jack, because Jenny Tartakovsky basically had Samurai Jack travel into the future so that he could be slicing off heads and arms from robots.
Right.
So, like, he could slice an arm off a robot and oil would come shooting out. And so he's like, so it's like you could have it all the carnage you want, and that there's no actual, like, lives lost at the end of it. Remember that name because he actually got Jenny Tartakovsky to do a little work on Iron Man 2. So we're going to talk about that when those scenes come up later on. So that's another thing to look forward to into the future. Nice. But yeah, so we have now Ivan has pivoted the entire operation towards drones, but still Justin is not quite on board with this yet. So he says, Ivan, I like you. I got you the bird. Hey, that's right. There's Arena.
That sound effect, though, is like the Scooby of cockatoos. Because she's kind of like... Like, anyway.
So this bird is being played by Sunny, playing Irina 2. Okay, so then Justin continues. You said, no problem. That's what you said to me. You said, no problem. Now I need suits. The government wants suits. Like Iron Man. You understand? That's what the people want. That's what's going to make them happy. And he's not wrong. Like, the government isn't asking for robots.
Yeah.
I mean, General Dynamics is doing its own thing, but like no, in the MCU, no one's asking for drones. No one's asking for autonomous things. They want guy in suit. They want to take a soldier, wrap him in armor, or perhaps gamma irradiated flesh, and send him into combat. Hey, same army,
exactly. Yeah.
Same military trying to weaponize soldiers. As we saw at the end of Incredible Hulk, there's the difference of from internal or external. Like, how do you want to have them able to fight, to heal or to not be hurt? That's your question. So Ivan said, Ivan, this is great, actually turns it around. So I had forgotten he did this. So we had in the last one, Justin tried to play off how he screwed up getting the bird. And so now Ivan turns it around on him and says, hey, man, don't get too attached to things. It's like, oh,
I know.
Well played.
Yes. No, this is a great little moment of him turning around Justin's own words to him. And which this is, of course, the funny part of all this, while Justin's been going off, he has already been creating a relationship with the new bird.
Yeah.
So
they're already bonding over this 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So then he continues on. He says, learn to. And that's unfortunately where the minute ends, right in the middle of that line.
That's the whole. This next couple minutes, conversations.
Yeah, a lot of conversations.
A lot of conversations.
This week will be all about conversations and exposition. That's an exposition through conversation and exclusively through conversation.
Yeah. Really, no messing around. Like, it's going to be fun, but I mean, this is what it is. There's nothing new in this scene. There's the same background as we talked about in the last minute. Just Jack's funny.
I didn't notice we hadn't talked about the weird circles on the suit. I was wondering I was trying to figure out what those things are. The black and yellow, like sort of crossed circles are on like a lot. I couldn't even see what the rhyme or reason to where their placement. Like, are they placed near a joint? Because some of them are on the chest then. So why would they be there?
Right. So usually this is like a
moving part.
It's a pattern. Well, I think what those are for is, the idea would be is that if you were going to do a test then of this device and they'd be recording it, those are for the camera motion tracking for those joints to show the camera when they're analyzing what's going on, how fast things are working, what's the response time, all that kind of stuff. Kind of like crash test dummies. Crash test dummies have sort of the same markings so that when they actually analyze the slow motion footage of the crash, they actually can measure distances and things of what's happening.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, but other than that, you're absolutely right. Like, we're in the same location. We're still at SpaceX. Same three people. There's not a lot of stuff we have to add. But
interesting though. I do really like how they have Justin babbling. I love that Ivan has this really great touche moment with him to say, hey, you got to let go of stuff. This is what you told me. So let's all be fine with that. And the thing with Jack and the helmet's funny.
Yeah.
It works.
And Ivan, like, even with very, very small amount of spoken lines, turning Justin to his way of thinking and making him go along with this not very well thought out plan.
Exactly. Not bad.
So if you want to try and convert someone to your way of thinking through just the power of words, there's a great place for that. It's called Discord.
Oh,
that's right. Discord is a great place for conversation, as opposed to some of the other places, which is just like, I make a statement, and then everybody either comments or puts GIFs that make no sense to you or tries to use emojis and they don't know what they're doing. Come on. Discord's a place for reasoned debate. And so we have our own Discord server.
I think that might be me. I think the few times that I comment on stuff whenever I'm the butt of a joke or something, I might use an emoticon or something.
Well, I'm also the first one to put up a GIF.
Oh,
I think the proper GIF in the proper place is an art form, and I'm working to perfect that myself. So if you on Discord and you say something like that, that's probably what you're going to get as an answer from me. But what will it be? You'll have to find out by joining our server. So join our community. We've got our own dedicated channel. And also all the other shows have their own as well. So if you want to hop around through the True Story family, you can do that. We're happy to have you. And also, the best part is it's free.
That's really nice.
So that was episode. That was 66. We'll be back here with minute 67 when the conversation gets really intense because it gets military. So we're gonna have some soldiers talking in the next one, and we're gonna see that I forgot about this, but I was proven right. So you didn't see my prediction get justified because of how bad my memory is. You don't want to miss 67. Enough said.
Bye.